definitely hard.
But our book club is still intact.
It is, yeah.
And
we're still holding on by a thread.
Yeah. No, but we do have an Instagram page. Our book club has an Instagram
Prescription
page.
for Fiction.
Yes. Hi, I'm Michelle, owner of Lively House, an interior design studio passionate about making casual living beautiful. I'm a desert dweller, a mom to 2 lively kids, and now the podcast host of Conversations Over Coffee. With this podcast, I wanted to make a space for all types of conversations: business, design, health, and lifestyle. Anything goes here. I believe that our own personal stories might motivate and completely transform another story simply as they engage in the conversation. I'll be inviting guests on who will bring a new perspective to your life and mine. There is so much to gather and grow from one another. I cannot wait for us to do it here together. So whether you're listening while taking your daily commute to work or sipping coffee at your favorite local spot, get ready to dig into the real stuff, because this is Conversations Over Coffee. Calling all readers. Today, we have a special guest and a dear friend of mine on the podcast, Kristin Mann. She and I always seem to have the best conversations regarding books. And I forgot to mention, I am in a book club and she's the best host. Her passion for reading is contagious and has inspired me to continue the habit for all these years. I'm so excited for you all to meet her and get the inside scoop of our book club, some of our most favorite reads, and our real opinion on audio versus hard copy books. So grab a cozy spot and get ready to enjoy this episode of Conversations Over Coffee. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this about me, but I love to read. Like, I genuinely love reading books.
Yes.
And Kristin, who started our book club that I'm in.
Yeah.
Which we've known each other now since 2011.
Mm-hmm. It's a long time.
I know.
I mean, I was fresh out of college in 2011.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think I was still in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, am I older than you?
No.
Mm-mm. Oh, I couldn't remember.
No. Okay, but we worked together. I was your manager at Michael Kors there here in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
And that's how we started.
Yep.
And I don't even remember how we got into reading, but I remember us always talking about books.
Yeah, I think when I first met you, I read, but then I did not read for years until the pandemic happened. That's when I started reading again.
Yes. But I do remember who's also in our book club, our friend Allie.
Mm-hmm.
She's
always been reading.
Always been reading.
Yeah.
And we clicked a lot too with reading. And so our book club consists of how many girls now?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's like 8 or 10. There's been extra people at one point.
We started with 5, and it's always been the group of us from Michael Kors.
Colleen, me, you, Allie, Kara, and then my sister-in-law, Lindsay.
Oh, yes.
She's also, because she's
like
always
the
read too, and
one.
I never even knew that about her. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were really into reading.
This is what I love about book clubs is because we all have this everyone's passionate about these fun books. They don't need to be serious.
No, and I feel like all of our taste in books, it overlaps, but then we have one who likes maybe more thrillery things like Allie.
Oh yeah.
And then you like the rom-com books. I mean, I do too.
I know. You know what's even funnier is that I realized I don't like rom-com movies. I can't.
They're so bad these days.
I can't stand them. I really can't
They
stand
were
the
good
cheesiness.
back in the 10 years ago.
But I will read a rom-com book all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Give that to me. And I'll read that one.
Don't make it into a movie. Let's just keep it as a book.
Yeah.
And don't ruin it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, before we dive into all of the fun questions about our book club that I wanted to share on the podcast, I wanted to ask you how you take your coffee.
My normal coffee every day is it's from a K-Cup, Starbucks K-Cup, and I take it with dairy-free vanilla creamer and then Truvia and some cinnamon. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But I'm not picky. If all the options are just black coffee or crappy whatever brand, I'll drink it if I have to. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, and you're a new mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
18-month-old.
18-month-old. So reading has changed from you since we started the book club.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, it was I remember when he was first born, I read in the dark because I used to like stay up with him all the time.
That is dedication.
Read books in the dark. I'm like,
know.
what a freak. But then it kind of just like tapered off a little bit and it just got hard. And then I started doing audio more because like
we're gonna get into that question. That's a debate.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, I started doing some audio, but I still read. I just got back into it again because it's been. I think I was going steady like in October, and then everything fell off when the holidays started, which I feel like most people like can't read during the holiday time. It's just kind of hard. So yeah.
And Kristin, people who know you know that you're the ultimate host. So it was easy. It was easy for you to be our host.
Yeah.
But you're the one that truly like sparked this.
It's my mom and me. My mom's like a big host. And I don't know. I like people coming to my house. I think it's fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
The hosting part, that scares me, like the pressure to host. But I love the idea of it.
I don't know why I like it. It's
but
weird.
You're good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're welcome. What inspired you to do it?
To do book club?
Yeah.
Well, we were all reading, and I feel like we were all texting each other, like me, Allie, and you, Colleen, and then my sister-in-law, Lindsay.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, like, at the time, you guys were, like, really big readers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we talked about it when we met and stuff. But I was like, wow, everyone in this little group really reads a lot. And I'm kind of just coming into this again. Yeah. I had a friend who lives in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
She is the one who got me. She's like, you need to read, because I was really depressed, like, during the pandemic, like everyone was.
Yeah.
It was just a weird time. And I quit my job, was furloughed, then quit my job at Michael Kors.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
I was just like, okay. And then I was starting to do like fertility stuff. And I just needed something. And then we were all texting so much. And I'm like, why don't we just actually like do this? And I feel like we could talk about it. Be like, yeah, we'll do a book club. And then we never actually would do it. But we actually did it. We just planned it and we did it. And we had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was just like, let's just go.
I feel like once the word got out to our like group of MK girls.
Oh my God.
It went fire.
I know. Everyone was like, oh, can I come? Can I come? I'm like, you can. Yeah. I'm like, you have to read the book.
Yeah.
But you can come. Yes, for sure. Yeah, that was fun.
Okay. So what have been some of the best books now because we've had this book club now, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
I think.
And it's been on a little hiatus lately because we've all been busy. It's mostly my fault because I had a baby and had a lot of stuff going on with him.
Yeah. And nobody wants to be the host because you're like our original host.
I know. And now it's just kind of hard to come to my house because it's just baby everywhere. It's just crazy crowded and he's there. And like, obviously it would be kind of hard to do. So it's like, let's go to a restaurant. Let's go to whoever's house. But yeah, definitely hard.
But but our book club is still intact.
It is, yeah.
And
we're still holding on by a thread.
Yeah. No, but we do have an Instagram page. Our book club has an Instagram
Prescription
page.
for Fiction.
Yes.
Which I think our friend Allie came up with that name.
She did.
Yeah. It was something so dumb in the beginning. I was like, boards and books. I'm like, I can't think of a creative name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's have a charcuterie board. Like the first time we had the meeting I was going to have like wine and charcuterie board.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, we still did.
Yeah. And it was really good.
Yeah. I do. Okay, wait. I want to go back to our question. What have been some of the best books out of
I forgot what the question was because I just strayed off so much. Okay, best books. There's so many good ones we've read.
Yeah.
I think everyone's favorite is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover.
I can't remember. Was that like our first or second book?
No. So our first book was The Last Thing He Told Me, which got mixed reviews.
Yeah.
And then they made that into a series on Apple, like I think last year.
Still with the same author.
No, I don't.
Colleen Hoover?
She didn't write that.
Let's
find out who wrote it. It's right here.
Oh.
Laura Dave. Yeah. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Sorry to her.
Yeah. Whoops.
That was the first book we read. And then we read People We Meet on Vacation, which is Emily Henry, which I love her.
I know. That was a good book.
I love that book. The Therapist, loved that book too. I think that also got mixed reviews. I don't know if everyone
We
loved
really
that.
liked The Therapist.
I loved it.
I think that was a good debate.
So yeah, it was. It was so good. And then what other books? I like To Flicker in the Dark. Did you actually read that one? I can't remember if you read it or not.
Tell me about that book.
It was oh man. It was like I think like 2 years ago we read it.
Yeah.
Stacey Willingham's the author, and that was her first book she wrote. And it was about like a girl who, God, oh my God, I can't even remember, but it was a thriller.
Yeah.
She had like a brother.
No, I read that
and
one.
Her boyfriends or her husband or boyfriend, something. There was girls were dying. Like people she knew were dying, young girls.
I didn't read this one.
Okay, so she wrote that, but then she wrote, she also wrote All the Dangerous Things, which we read more recently. That was the one where her baby gets taken out of his crib.
Oh,
that was like a really bad time for me to read that book.
Yeah,
I'm like,
not a good one.
Yeah, but that book is so good. That was All the Dark Things. So that was last year. We read that one, which I loved. And then I don't know if you read the most recent one we all read.
I know. I'm so behind.
Michelle's really busy. It's fine.
Blah. Yeah.
I mean, you are.
I love it in our group book club
our chats.
I'm always chiming in like randomly.
5 years later.
Yeah. I'm like,
are we still meeting? Yes.
I'm like, could I still be in the
fine.
club? Am I still a member?
Yeah. I mean, what was your favorite book?
It Ends With Us.
Yeah. That one is just so good.
That one or Verity?
Oh, wait. So Verity, we didn't officially actually like read together, but I think every person read it.
Yeah.
Allie started that, and then I read it, and I read it in one day. I'm oh my God, this book is insane.
This is why I love you, because I'm the same way. And that's the question of like audio versus real books. Because it's dangerous when I have a real book in my hand. I will read it.
If you like it good enough, you'll find a way to read it.
Yes.
Finish it up.
So Verity and It Ends With Us were both two books that impacted both of our club. So good.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Why It Ends With Us?
So It Ends With Us was to me like the most meaningful book. It's about a relationship with physical abuse, which fortunately I've never experienced that. But the author really made you like, she talked up this character, the main guy, like he's
I can't remember his name.
Ryle is his name.
Ryle. Yeah.
Ryle. We all had a debate over his name.
Audiobook
and
saved
you did
us.
audio. You're like, it's Ryle.
Yes. Yep.
But they talk this guy up. He's a charmer. He's good looking. Like we love this character.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he is abusive. And it kind of made me like, I've always had a hard time with people like, you're in a physically abusive relationship. Like, I don't understand why these women stay with these people. Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
But then I kind of understood it after reading this. This person did a 180, like,
right.
And, she loves him. She's established with him. And you really like, it's like a mental problem. It sucks. Like you need extra help to try to get out of the relationship. And I feel like I understood that after reading that.
Yeah.
And how that happens just all the time with people. It's really sad.
I felt like the debate, or it just brought up a lot of great conversation within our book club that, because usually we just love to gather and chat, and eventually we'll get to the book that we read.
Talk like an hour before because no one's seen each other for a bit. Yeah.
But this one in particular, I feel like really impacted our club just because it made us all aware. And we all I remember us all talking about different forms of like traumas that people had gone through.
Yeah.
And I thought that was impactful just to learn about
or and people they know who went through whatever situation. Yeah.
Yeah. That book I would reread again.
I would reread it too. I lost my book though. It's a funny story. I gave it to another Lindsay in our book club.
Your sister-in-law?
Lindsay Sakahara.
Oh, okay.
And I tried to give it to her in her apartment complex. And I couldn't find her doorstep. I left it on some random person's doorstep and who had like the same number address in this apartment. It was really confusing, but I didn't give her the book.
Well, somebody has that book.
Someone
then.
has the book.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't have the book anymore, sadly.
Yeah.
But I would read it again.
So debate, audio versus real book.
I mean, I love real books. I
know.
I-
But
I read audio now, though, because I kind of have to. It's just way easier with a toddler.
yeah. But I find it to be just really difficult to get into whatever book that you guys picked for the month.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh, but the audio is so rough.
I know. Like the narrator, I've talked about this before on our Instagram. Sometimes I do like little book reviews just for fun. I don't know how many people listen to it, but whatever.
Yeah.
I always talk about how like the narrator just completely makes or breaks the book for me.
Truly.
I'm like, okay, this sucks. I cannot listen to this person's whiny voice any longer.
Yes.
Or it's great. And I'm just like, oh my God, this book is so good. I have to finish it. Like,
Yeah.
the last one we read, it was Lisa Jewell. I have to look because I can't remember. None of this is true. The audio was so good for it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that reading the hardback book would have not been as good as the audio, which is not normal for me to say because I think I like books less when I do audio because of the narration.
I'll say this. Okay, so right now, just in my life, it's always been audio.
Yeah.
Since having kids.
Yes.
As you know,
Same
right?
with my sister-in-law.
Yeah. You can't. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
And I fly through these books quickly because I just plop them in the headphones.
Yeah.
I listen to the audiobook. It's a great storytell. And I just go about my day.
Yeah.
But what I love about real books is that I feel like you actually take in the story more, where I'm flying through the story and I don't feel like I remember as much.
Well, and I use more of my imagination when I'm actually reading it because sometimes, again, when I hear the voices, I'm like, okay, you just ruined this character for me. That's not how I pictured him. And a lot of times it's a woman narrator and she does like this really low voice when a man comes on and it just sounds so dumb. Like my husband's been in the room before and like, or we've gotten in the car and my audio starts playing and he's like, what? Sorry. It's so bad. I know. It's really funny though.
Okay, let's go into that though, because I have 2 points and I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Whenever a guy's on the audio, how do you feel? And then what do you think about the accent when there's a narrator that has an accent?
If the narrator has like a British accent, I love that.
Yes, I agree.
I love British.
I know.
I think everyone in America loves to hear British people talk.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And then if an actual guy is doing audio or if the woman is making a guy voice, like which one do you mean?
When there is an actual guy on the audio.
That's okay.
I think it depends on his voice too.
And it's probably because when we're reading about
our
guys, we want what we want. Like we don't want some other random dude to come in and ruin it. Like he sounds like a nerd or something.
I'm laughing
like,
because,
oh God. Ew.
Yeah. Because, well, it's true. You have this vision in your head when you're reading a book of like what you've concocted in your head.
What
for
actor who's going to play the part for you.
Oh, yeah. That's fun. A game for us to play too.
We love talking about that in book club.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's a good debate.
It is.
But yeah, it depends. I will say I appreciate it when it's a woman wrote the book, there's a woman narrator, but then they also bring in a guy to do the guy part. I'm like, can you guys spring for, a hired actor to do the guy's part? Like, is it that much money? It's so weird to me that more people don't do that.
I agree. I think that's a good point for more books to come out with.
What a fun job that would be.
I've always thought
Is
about
that weird?
Actually. No.
I think that'd be so fun to do like a narration of a book on audio.
Who knows? Maybe our book club
maybe I can make bank doing that. I don't know. We'll see how people feel about my voice after this, listening to it.
Okay, what's the ideal environment for you to read a good book?
I always just picture like me in my bed with like comfy clothes on and I have like my lamp on and I have like a candle or like a drink, like a coffee. So before I had my son, I had like a reading corner in my house. I have this big fluffy chair with a little lamp and I don't have this set up anymore because it just doesn't obviously work. But I would always have like coffee and I would just sit there. And I remember a couple of times, like I would be so into a book, I would stay up super late and just sit in my chair and read it. Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine that I don't have that anymore. It's okay.
So what's it like now?
I have to squeeze in like 10 minutes of reading now because my baby boy doesn't nap great. He doesn't sleep great, unfortunately, but that's okay.
Days.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like now. Or if I'm doing audio, like I'll do it while I'm drying my hair or maybe while he's eating breakfast sometimes. Yeah. But it's fine.
I say my ideal it's coffee shop is what I'm trying to say. My ideal spot is a coffee shop.
I mean, that sounds really fun. I would do that.
Yes. Yeah. Kid-free coffee shop.
Yeah. You have to be
with kids. I'm with them with the AirPods in.
Yeah.
And I'm going about my day with them.
Yeah. Laundry. I mean, that's a huge benefit of audio. Sometimes, this is how weird I am. I don't know if this is that weird, but if I'm actually reading a book, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had this on audio too. And I could just like stop and start because like if I don't have time to sit and read, which is kind of happening to me right now, I'm reading a really good book. I think it's called Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune something. And she's got one other book and her books are really good. The one book I read by her.
I think I read her other book.
You did because I think I told you to.
It was like inspired by the Kennedys.
So good. It was called. Wait, no, that's Emily Giffin, but that one's really good.
Oh, well, we love Emily
Every
Giffin.
Summer After. You read this. Remember that?
Yes.
You did read that.
I did read that one. Yeah.
I gave it to my mother-in-law to read too.
That one was
she loved it. Yeah, it's so good. But I'm reading her second book right now, and I'm just like, I just don't have time. I read a little yesterday, but I'm like, oh my God, if I had this on audio too, I could get it done. Yeah. And then go back to someone needs to invent that. It probably is a thing.
Well, would you go back and reread any of the books? Like, would you go back? Okay, so a book that you've read, hard copy, would you go back and listen to it audio? Is that what you were saying?
No, meaning like if I'm reading a book and I don't have time to actually sit and read it, I wish I had it also on audio so I could just start where I left off, listen to it a little bit, then stop and then go back and read it.
You could do that. That just takes a lot of coordination.
I know, and I'm like, I'm not buying the audiobook plus I don't know. But I would read books again. I have read some books twice. I've read Verity twice.
Have you?
Yeah, because 2 years ago, she re-released the book with an extra, like, epilogue or chapters or something like that.
Yes.
Did you read that?
I didn't read the extra epilogue on that one.
I wouldn't read it. I didn't like it.
No? Why?
No. It just kind of, I'm like, I just
because the story needed it to end and wrap up. It didn't need, I don't think it needed that continuation.
I think what happened was so many people loved the book so much, had so much hype that she's like, oh, I'll just like add on to it, which is fine. But I personally was fine with just the original. Yeah, because I don't want to give anything away, but it just put some characters in not a good light. I'm like, you kind of ruined that for me. So I pretend that last little bit didn't happen. But I did read that twice. I mean, I've read The Notebook twice.
That's a big book to read.
Is it? I used to love Nicholas Sparks when I was in high school.
He's the ultimate.
My God. I read all of his books. But I read that twice. I've read The Great Gatsby twice, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah. That's another big book.
Yeah. Also, my favorite movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, I can't talk,
is The Great Gatsby?
It's so good.
I mean,
you've seen it, right?
Oh, I just love it for the aesthetics.
What's the Boz Lutheran is the director or something like that?
Oh, I don't know though.
Oh, he did Moulin Rouge. It's the same director who did that.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways. This is a book talk, not movies. Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, but that does bring up a great point. Like, how do we feel whenever like the book turns into
I'm like
a movie or a show?
I think most people...
It's hard to do it well.
Yeah. Most people who really like books and really read a lot of books, they don't usually prefer the movie version when it comes out.
Yeah.
And for me, what happens with me is if I saw whatever I did first, I like better usually. Like if I read the book first, I pretty much like the book. If I saw the movie and then read the book, which I don't really like to do, then I would say like, I like the movie better.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard for me personally. I feel like I've already bought into the characters that were in the book and how I created them in my head. Yeah. And so when they're not depicted like that in the movie, I'm like, this is or show.
And that's kind of happening now with It Ends With Us. And I think a lot from what I've from what I've listened to on Reels and TikTok, everyone who read It Ends With Us is kind of annoyed at how the characters are being portrayed. And Blake Lively is the lead and everyone loves her.
Yeah.
But no one likes her wardrobe. That's happening.
I don't understand. I don't feel like it correlates to the way it was in the book.
No, it's like not anything that I would have thought. But I think from Colleen Hoover, what she said that she's not doing it. Like they're not the same age as they are in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay.
Why?
I don't know. So I'm curious to see what happens here, but it's not like a cute wardrobe.
No.
I don't think.
This is
which is weird, but
well, will you go watch it?
Yeah. I feel like I have to watch it. I have
will
to at
too.
least see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even when they're bad, I still want to see you. Like, I still want to be angry.
Yeah.
Watching it.
Oh,
be like,
yeah. We have to talk about it.
Yeah, this is
That's happened a lot actually with some of the books I've read.
What's the one with Jennifer Gardner? Which book was that one?
That's the last thing he told me.
Yes.
I
didn't like
I tried to watch that with
too.
Lindsay and we had a hard time. And who doesn't? I mean, everyone loves Jennifer Garner. And then the guy, he's from Game of Thrones. I forget his name. He's like the really handsome guy.
I know. I'm thinking
Nikolai something. What's his character in Game of Thrones? He's the Kingslayer. Have you watched Game of Thrones?
Yes, I have.
Okay, he's the Kingslayer.
Yeah.
He's a Lannister. Jamie Lannister. Jamie.
Are you sure that's his last name, his real last name?
Lannister?
Yeah.
It's Game of Thrones. I don't know his real last name.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, he's the guy in it. And he's a great actor. I love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not huge on the show.
Yeah.
And I wasn't super, I mean, the book was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the best book I've read. But
okay, what's our go-to platform?
For reading?
And to find new books to read.
Oh, like where we find books? I do it on Instagram. Since I started our little Instagram page, I follow a ton of people. It's called Bookstagram. It's like I think it's just like a little area of Instagram.
Little niche of people.
Yeah, and there's so many people. It's crazy. And it's really cool though.
So that's where you get the books for us to read.
Normally, or Goodreads.
Goodreads.
Yeah.
I thought you were always getting them from Goodreads.
So I was always going on Goodreads before I started the Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Instagram, I don't know what happened if I just started following people that were like similar to my page.
Yeah.
But everyone started posting these books that I'm like, oh, I know that author. Oh my God, she has a book out? Oh my God. And like I'll just like scroll through and then find stuff and then I save it or I'll put it on our stories just so in case you guys care or want to see.
I do. I feel
like people look at the stories. I mean,
we do.
I don't know.
I love whenever you post. So do that more. The stories.
I know.
If you could find some time between motherhood and life and reading,
it just has
and all
to
the
be a
stuff
habit.
That you do. I know.
And I feel like I'm reading right now, and I have to start a new audiobook. So I mean, I'm getting back. I'm trying to get back and do it again, and until another life-altering thing happens.
I feel like the pressure is always on you to like carry us all.
Well, I mean, not.
But it's okay. I think you handle it well.
The host in me.
I know. It is.
Yeah. No. It's just hard. I feel like everyone's busy. Colleen.
Oh,
she has a whole other book club.
I know.
And I think these girls are like legit.
They're like big readers.
Yeah.
At first I was a little jealous when she was like, I can't
know.
come because I have another book club.
Well, I'm like, can I be in that one too?
Oh, you would do well in that one. I would be kicked out instantly.
I feel like she can correct us if we're wrong, but I feel like they read like
serious.
smart books. Yeah. You know what? Not smart, but like
non-fictional
books.
Or fictional too.
Maybe some nonfiction. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The closest we've come to like kind of a heavy book was It Ends With Us. And then I don't know if you read American Dirt. Oh my God. That book is fabulous.
Okay. Tell me about it.
So good. That one was the one about the girl from Mexico. The cartel kills her whole family. It's so messed up, but it's like very real depiction. And her mom, wait, no, I don't know if it's a girl. It might be.
No, it's a girl.
Is it a girl?
It is
okay,
a girl.
it's a daughter and mother?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was son and mother. Okay, so the whole story is about them, the cartel. First, I can't remember why. I think the dad was like a reporter and he reported bad news headings about the cartel. And I think that they got mad. And so they killed him. And then the mom and the daughter made it out.
I think you're
really
right.
The daughter?
It was the daughter.
son.
No, it was.
I can't remember.
This is bad of us.
I know. I mean, I read this.
I started.
It was like 2 years ago.
I remember listening to this book in my kitchen. I started.
Oh, you did it? Listen to it?
No, listen. Hold on. It was like an hour, maybe an hour into this, and I was like, "This is dark.
Yeah,
I can't read. I can't hear this."
Yeah, it was. Our friend Kara. She was the one who wanted us to read it, and I was honestly kind of against it because reading for me is kind of an escape from reality, and that's why I like fiction books.
Agreed.
And I was like, "Oh God, this is gonna be sad," but I'm so glad I read it because it was great.
I feel like that you bring up a really great point, though, that all of us read to escape a little bit of a little bit of the reality.
Yeah, definitely. That's the whole point for me.
Yeah. Law of psychology to that.
But then we have some, smart people that like to, read better books, nonfiction. The nonfiction readers.
Who are they?
I know Lindsay Sakahara reads nonfiction. She just is like that. I don't know. She's very like intellectual and I don't know what I'm trying to say. Lindsay, you're smart and you read really good books that I don't know if I could do.
I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But I know like she'll read those types of books, and then I think Colleen every now and then does too.
She does. Yeah, you've read what was that one that I just downloaded it and I never read it. It's that one older one, Train Station.
The Girl on the Train?
No, not that one.
Wait, I'm like, because that's a fiction book.
It was
like really good book,
she was in Europe or England.
Oh my God, the historical fiction.
Yes.
That's a whole other genre that I love. Kate Quinn.
Yeah.
She's the best author. I've read all of her books now. And a lot of them I did on audio and they were really good. And one was like 12 hours or something, or 14.
I think it was that one.
The one I made you read was called The Alice Network, I think.
That's the
long
one.
time ago. And it was a World War I book. And she does books from like a women's perspective back then.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because obviously during those times, like women, didn't have like a lot of power. Yeah. But they were actually really, really involved with World War I and II. And I feel like not a lot of people know that. I think more World War II women, like that was kind of like a thing. Oh, like let's get the women doing whatever. But World War I, even like the Alice Network, she was like a spy to the two girls it was about. They were spies and they did like really dangerous stuff.
Yes.
Scary stuff. And
yes.
They're loosely based on real stories. Like she did another one called The Rose Code that was from World War II. And Queen Elizabeth's husband was actually in this book. And the woman it was about was a real woman, and she dated him before he was engaged to Queen Elizabeth. But the events were fictional. So that's something I love about her is she'll take like a real character and like make her own story about it. Yeah. She's done that a couple times. I think that's like her whole thing with books. Yeah. I could go on and on because I love I can't even say it. World War II and World War I. I love those types of books. Yeah. Which is really weird that I do, but I do. Yeah. My dad would be proud of me.
I like them too.
Yeah.
I feel like they have like such tradition to them.
Yeah.
I think that's why I love
interesting.
Them. Yeah.
And I like I read one more book and I think it was called The Sisters of the Resistance. And Kristin Dior was in the book. So I'm like, okay, I have to read that.
Us fashion girls.
Yeah. Yeah. But these girls were like messengers and one of them worked for Kristin Dior or something like that. So I thought that was really cool.
And this one is fictional.
It was in Paris. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What are our favorite genres?
Well, I mean, fiction.
Fiction.
Obviously, but that's like a big umbrella.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I know me and you like the romance fiction. Yes. like quirky books.
Yeah.
Kara does too.
Yeah.
I mean, and also the ones that are a little bit like R-rated, which every woman likes those types of books. I feel like you're lying if you don't. Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's read that.
I know. I love that you call us all out. Yes.
Well,
Go
I mean,
on.
why? How could you not? Like, it's fun.
Yeah. It is fun. Yeah.
Whatever. There was one book we read that was really bad. It's like embarrassing to even talk about. Just the title alone.
We won't. Okay.
Kara read it too.
Yeah. Those books are there.
Yeah. It's just fun. Whatever.
Okay. What are some of the natural benefits that we've experienced from keeping up our regular reading, you feel like?
I mean, for me, especially I'm noticing it when I take a hiatus and don't read anything because we're just so busy. It's just like good for your mental health.
Yeah.
Like it helps. It gives me something to do I look forward to.
Agree.
Especially when you find a really good book.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh my God, I have to read what happens next.
Yeah.
I'm excited to read this tonight. But yeah, for me, it's like an escape. And then when I started reading, I was not in the best place because I was having fertility trouble.
Yeah.
And it was like a really long process and it sucked. And reading was my only kind of thing that I had like as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so fun. I would just like power through books. I think I read 70 books in 2021.
I remember that on Goodreads.
Yeah. I'm like, holy, like I can't believe I read that many books. Like I was really surprised at myself. But that just goes to show you like it's once you start reading, you don't want to stop. It's kind of like, but then getting into reading is really hard. It's like when you finish a show and you have to start a new one and you don't want to. Like, oh God, I don't know if I can. It's the same with books. You have to just like rip the Band-Aid off and start one and then you won't regret it.
Yes.
It's so fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's the same with like, I'll download a book and I know it's there in my library. And I'm like, just get into it.
Yeah. Just like turn it on.
Yeah.
And then once you turn it on, you're like, oh my God, this is great. Can't wait to read it.
I also think it's great for, my oldest, my 8-year-old to see.
Yeah.
But I don't have hard books anymore. I know.
This is the world we live in now.
Yeah. But she'll ask me, what are you listening to? And I'm like,
that's cute.
Book.
A book.
A book.
Cool, Mom.
And I'm still hanging out with you and I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. My son, he's been obsessed with books since he was like, so I started reading to him really young when he was 6 months old. This kid literally brings me books all morning to read and he sits through them all and he knows them all. And we have probably 100. I can't sit down in my chair in the family room without him bringing me a book. Like just this morning, I probably read him 5 books.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's so good for them.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know if me liking to read has anything to do with it, but
or reading
probably has some.
As reading as much as you did while you were pregnant. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. It just transferred over to him somehow. But it's fun though, because like I look for books that I remembered when I was little and I really loved. I try to find these old books that my mom read me. And I like, I buy these books and they're like torn up because they're so old, but I don't care. Some of them are his favorite books.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think stuff was just different when we were kids. Like the books were different than they are now.
Yeah.
There's really cute books now too, but I love the classic type things.
I do too.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to loving that tradition.
Yeah. It's great. It's just so good for you. And especially like for a little one, he doesn't talk much yet.
Yeah.
So he's learning words that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
No, that's good.
Let's talk about toddler books.
No. Laura, now we're going to get into our toddler books.
Okay. Yeah.
No. We'll end with our last question, which would be, what is our current read right now?
Well,
don't ask me.
Well, I just told everyone yesterday the book that I'm reading and the Meet Us at the Lake book. Meet Me at the Lake. And then I don't know. I feel like Colleen is kind of reading her own right now. I know she was reading The Fourth Wing.
We love her still.
Which I want to read so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone's saying you have to read it, but
what's it about?
I don't know. I thought it was like a fantasy thing, and then someone told me it was like a spicy book. I'm like, wait, is it both?
Wait,
it's like Harry Potter with stuff. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
My friend Carly said that I needed to read it and that everyone's reading it. So,
what's it called?
The Fourth Wing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fourth Wing.
It's like a start of a series, I think. But No, we don't have an actual official book right now. We got to pick one.
We do, so that we can meet again.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good ones out there. Allie always has great suggestions, but she's finishing a book right now.
And she's always in the dark. So in the
dark.
I mean, her book recommendations are dark. So
I know.
I usually don't go to her for my recommendations. I know who to go to.
The books I want to read. She likes thriller books.
She does.
I can read a couple of those and then I need something light.
Yes.
And then if I read a bunch of light books, I'm like, oh my God, this is so corny. I gotta read something else.
Yeah.
You just have to balance it out. But yeah, we gotta find a good one. I'm not sure. There's a ton of new ones I want to read.
Yeah.
Tons. Oh, this one author, it's 2 people, Liv Constantine.
Yes.
She wrote The Last Mrs. Parrish. Did you read that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That was another Allie recommendation. Like in 2020, I read that book and I read it in like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. She came out with a continuation of that. I forget what it's called though. Mm-hmm. Something Mrs. Parrish. I don't know. But I don't know if it's out yet, but I definitely want to read that.
That one was good.
Yeah.
Good job, Allie.
Wait, who are your like favorite authors?
Okay, well,
do you know authors?
Not all of them. Okay, I'm really
Colleen
bad.
Hoover.
Well, no. Okay, my original OG favorite author is Emily Giffin.
That's right. I forgot. Yes. We both like her.
Yes.
I read all her books.
I read all of her books, and I read her first 2, Something Borrowed, twice.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's one of the books I've read twice.
I don't mind reading that one again. I would read it again.
That's a cute movie too, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
I wasn't really happy with all the characters, and that the movie didn't continue.
I like the guy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Emily Giffin and then Colleen Hoover.
Yeah.
Is probably my second one.
Yeah, I like Lisa Jewell too. She writes the thriller type books, but they're so good.
Emily Henry is also my other favorite.
Yes. Beach read.
She's had a lot of good ones.
She has one out right now called Happy Place. It's like a year old now.
I read that one.
You did read it?
Yeah,
I didn't read it. I need to read it. It's on my list of to be read. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
This is so fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
And now everybody knows I'm in a book club and I love to read, and I can't wait to hear everyone's suggestions.
Yay!
This has been Conversations Over Coffee, where we make casual conversations beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast to make sure you stay up to date on the upcoming episodes. Until the next cup.